Welcome back guys to another Clash Royale video, and today I have some more epic clan replays to show you guys, including one replay where a tower had 1 health left on it, and also another replay that I honestly think is TV Royale material. But in this battle here on the bottom we have Tristan, and he's facing the King, and Tristan is actually using an interesting strategy. He does have the Royal Giant, but he has some interesting support troops that I haven't really seen used in a Royal Giant deck. He has the Valkyrie, the Musketeer, and the Mini PEKKA, and his opponent here is going to try and go in with that HOG Rider, and he also drops the free spell on that Royal Giant. Now the free spell does allow the Barbarians to kill the Royal Giant before he does too much damage to the tower, but the HOG Rider was pretty much wasted because the Mini PEKKA took it out pretty quickly, and as a result, as you can see right here, King has no elixir left to defend this tower. He ends up using that Fireball to take out the Mini PEKKA, but of course he did miss the Musketeer, and as a result he lost that tower. So right now, Tristan has a 1 crown lead so far, and things are looking really good so far for him. But watch a little bit later on the battle, King does come back with a pretty strong counter push, and things start to look really bad for Tristan in a moment. But right here, things are looking pretty good. His opponent is going to go in with that Goblin Barrel on the right hand side, but fortunately Tristan does have the Zap spell to take it out. So right here, the Valkyrie is making her way up over that bridge there. He's going to do a split push here with the Royal Giant on the right hand side. He also has the Wizard to support that Royal Giant, which is really annoying. Anytime I face a Royal Giant user who has a Wizard supporting it, it's really hard to counter because I can't use my minion horde, and also the Barbarians do die pretty quickly. So right here, Tristan's getting pretty low on elixir. He does have the Fireball to fortunately take care of those Barbarians, but take a look at the elixir lead that King has right here. He's going to go in with that HOG Rider. Now fortunately for Tristan, he does have the Mini PEKKA, which is a pretty decent counter against the HOG Rider, but unfortunately King does have that free spell ready, and as a result he's going to take that tower all the way down to 800 health, so things are starting to look a lot better for his opponent right here. Now once again, he's going to go in with that Royal Giant on the right hand side, but unfortunately he did not have the elixir for that Wizard to take out that minion horde, and as a result the Royal Giant didn't do too much damage to that tower. Now right here, his tower on the right hand side is all the way down to 412 health, and right here Tristan makes a pretty big mistake in my opinion. He used that Fireball to try and take out the bomb tower as well as damage that tower, but in my opinion that was a huge mistake, and watched the counter push right here by his opponent because he wasted 4 elixir on that Fireball. Now if you guys are facing somebody that has the Barbarians and the minion horde in their deck, you want to try and save your Fireball for that. Fireballing a tower and a defensive structure really isn't the greatest use of elixir. And right here he goes in once again with that Fireball, but watch what happens next. Royal Giant's going to go in there and get a couple hits off on that tower, but take a look at Tristan's deck right here. He has that Zap spell, but unfortunately for him, with the help of that free spell, all of those troops, even though they are at 1 health, they're going to do a crazy amount of damage to this tower here, bringing his King Tower all the way down to 100 health, sorry, and one more Fireball on that King Tower and it is dead. But watch this. King goes in with that Goblin Barrel. Now fortunately Tristan did have the Fireball ready. His tower is all the way down to 10 health right here, but he has a pretty decent counter push going on here. They are in overtime, so all he needs is to take out that tower on the right hand side to get the victory. King drops the free spell, but the Valkyrie is going to go in there and finish off that tower a half second before the Fireball lands. So there you go guys, Tristan does get the 2 crown victory. Let's go ahead to the next replay here. So here you are guys with the next replay. On the bottom from my clan we have Tman 98, and he's facing HGY 17. Now HGY is using a giant skeleton balloon deck, which is really interesting. I haven't seen a whole lot of people using that kind of strategy recently. Tman's going to start out here with an elixir pump right in the middle, but he doesn't place it in a location where it will distract oncoming troops, which I think is pretty interesting. But if you are using a strategy where you really need that elixir later on in the battle, you probably shouldn't use the elixir pump to distract because you want to keep it protected. Now right here, watch what his opponent does. He's trying to go in with that giant skeleton. He uses the Fireball trying to take out all of those spear goblins, but unfortunately the Fireball does not kill the Ice Wizard, and the Ice Wizard will be able to distract that giant skeleton long enough, allowing the Crown Tower to take it out. So that was a little bit of a waste of elixir by his opponent with that Fireball here. And now as a result, Tman is going to try and sneak in on the right hand side with the HOG Rider and the Baby Dragon combo, but unfortunately HGY did have the Bomb Tower ready to distract that push. Now right here, HGY was going in with the Prince, but unfortunately for him, just at the last second, Tman was able to drop down an Ice Wizard to soak up all of that charge damage. And now here you go, Tman has 2 pumps down at this point, so later on in the battle, he will have a lot of elixir to cycle through his cards pretty quickly. And he's going to go in on the right hand side with the Royal Giant, start setting up a push here. Now HGY is going to counter that Royal Giant with a Giant Skeleton, which in my opinion isn't the greatest decision because the Giant Skeleton doesn't do too much single target damage, and he does drop down some Stabby Goblins, which will take out that Royal Giant pretty quickly. And fortunately for him, the Giant Skeleton is still alive, so Tman will have to distract that with some Spear Goblins here. Now the Ice Wizard, I said in yesterday's video, the Ice Wizard is a pretty strong card for only 3 elixir. It's really great for shutting down a lot of different pushes for only 3 elixir. And now right here, Tman's just going to wait a second, start building that elixir, and also allowing that bomb tower to start taking away in health. Now he uses that minion horde to go in and do some damage to the bomb tower, but unfortunately his opponent did have the fireball ready to take it out. Now watch what happens here, guys. Royal Giant's going to go in there and get a couple hits off on that tower. HGY is going to try and overcommit on the right hand side, defending against that Royal Giant, and as a result, Tman will be able to sneak in with that Hog Rider on the left hand side, bringing that tower all the way down to 1300 health. So things are looking really good for Tman at this point. There's 25 seconds left until overtime, and both of his opponent's towers are down to about 1300 health. But watch this push on the right hand side, guys. HGY has a Giant Skeleton and a Balloon coming in with some Spear Goblins for support. Now fortunately the Balloon dies just before it reaches the tower, but take a look at what happens right here, guys. This is insane. We're going into overtime, the Giant Skeleton dies, his tower on the right hand side is all the way down to 1 health, while his Hog Rider on the right hand side was able to take out that tower, giving him the 1 crown victory. Let's go ahead to the final replay here. So here we are, guys, with the final replay. On the bottom from a clan, we have Brian, and he's facing an opponent here who I can't really pronounce their name, so I will just refer to them as Red throughout this replay. But this battle here, guys, honestly was insane. TV Royale material, if you ask me. Now, Brian is actually using a very unique strategy. He does not have the Hog Rider, he does not have the Royal Giant, nor does he have a PEKKA or Double Prince strategy. He's using something very unique, which I love to see. Now, right here, his opponent is going to go in with a split push, with the Princess on the left hand side and the Hog Rider on the right. Now unfortunately, just a half a second before his opponent used that Hog Rider, Brian did drop the mini PEKKA on the left hand side, and of course the mini PEKKA is a great counter for the Hog Rider. And as a result, the Hog Rider ended up doing a ton of damage to that tower, bringing it all the way down to 700 health. Meanwhile, on the left hand side, Brian dropped that free spell just a half a second too late, because the Fireball did take out that mini PEKKA. So right here, it wasn't really the greatest opening for Brian. His tower on the left hand side is all the way down to 700 health. Meanwhile, both of his opponent's towers were at pretty high health here, and his opponent is actually going to go in on the left hand side this time with that Hog Rider. And unfortunately, Brian just doesn't have any elixir left to defend against that Hog Rider push, and so now both of his towers are pretty weak. But we're going to see later on in this battle how Brian turns this thing around. So right here, Brian's going to use the Ice Wizard to take out that minion horde. Now he does use the Zap spell as well, which in my opinion wasn't really necessary, because the Ice Wizard by itself is a pretty decent counter to the minion horde, because it does slow the minions as well, allowing that crown tower to finish them off. Now watch this, guys. On the right hand side, Brian is going to go in with a mini PEKKA Ice Wizard push. Now he drops that free spell just in the nick of time, also freezing those minions, allowing the Ice Wizard to take him out. That mini PEKKA did get a couple hits off, bringing that tower all the way down to 1000 health. So things are starting to look a little bit better for Brian here. And now right here, Brian uses the Valkyrie as well as the Goblins to take out that Hog Rider. And unfortunately for his opponent, he just wasted his Zap spell trying to defend against that mini PEKKA push, and as a result, he didn't have it ready to support his Hog Rider. Now right here, Brian did lose a tower, so he is down 1 crown so far, but he's going to go in with that mini PEKKA, the Ice Wizard, as well as the free spell on the right hand side, and as a result, he's actually going to take out that tower on the right hand side, and even the game to 1 crown apiece. Now on the left hand side, the Hog Rider did go in there and do some damage to that tower, bringing it all the way down to 260 health. Now his opponent is going to use that Fireball here to try and weaken that tower, because we are getting pretty close to overtime, but in my opinion that was a pretty big mistake, because that was 4 elixir wasted that could be really useful here on defense, and as a result, Brian is actually going to take out that tower on the left hand side, giving him a 2 crown lead, but just a half a second after that, his opponent uses the zap spell to take out his tower. So now things are getting really crazy. We're going into overtime, and watch this, guys. Red is going to go in with a pretty strong push with that minion horde as well as that hog rider, but Brian does have a pretty decent counter with the ice wizard as well as a minion horde of his own. Now watch this, guys. Red uses that princess, which honestly was kind of a mistake because half a second later, Brian used the Valkyrie to take her out. And now watch this counter push by Brian. He's got a pretty strong split push going on here with the mini PEKKA and the ice wizard on the left and the Valkyrie on the right hand side. And with the help of the zap spell and the free spell, Brian is actually going to be able to take out that king tower, giving him the 3 crown victory. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the next video.